What is going on, homies? Welcome to another YouTube video. I'm sorry I haven't posted in a while. I'm just gonna straight away apologize, but life's been hectic and the Hindi channel has been taken off. So obviously you love to give where you get from. So I've just been getting more results there. I've been prioritizing that one. But with that being said, we're back on this one. We are going to post, we are going to try, and let's get straight away into the video. Just a heads up, I am not going to explain the steps that I took or maybe the process that went on behind the scenes when I was leaving India, but I'm just going to go over the main reasons or the reason why I left India when I was 18 years old. I turned fresh 18 and I left India, and I'm 24 now, so it was probably about like 6.5 years ago, but let's get into it. You see, India's population is not a hidden fact, like it's fucking mental. There's just fucking, what, 1 billion people? I don't even know the exact population of India now. The state that I come from, it's the capital, New Delhi, right? It's got a lot of population as well. And the high school system in India acts in a way that you need to be like in the top 1% of the students to, you got to score somewhere around like say 99.7 or 98.9%. If you got anything less than 98 or 97, you don't really get admissions into the best of the universities that the state has to offer. And this, the scoring part only applies to the general category people. So basically, people who make enough money to get their lives going, or could be someone who's not making like shitloads of millions and trillions of dollars. So me, coming from a middle income, middle class family, the only hope I had left was I had to score somewhere like, what, 98, 99 again. And knowing me, I'm very self-aware, that wasn't gonna happen. I'm just gonna break it down here. I scored about 94, which is still fucking good. No one in my family expected it because they just saw me playing video games while it was exam time. And the reason I scored 94 was because I'm like a night owl. It's like 2 in the morning right now. We finished up filming our first wedding for the media agency, right? And then I'm going to the gym because I cannot take a day off. Plus, when it's midnight, when it gets after like 10, 11, 12, whatever, I just tend to get more productive. Like, I don't know why that's the case, but even when I was like in year 12, in 12th standard for my Indian homies, you would understand that better. I was just studying when everyone else was sleeping. So no one was really looking at that part. And yeah, like I made it. I got 94%, which was fucking unexpected to everyone else. But you see, the thing was, to still get into one of the elite colleges or like the universities, I had to score more, but then I didn't. So this is how the distribution of seats, we're gonna call them, or like admissions, happens in India, right? About fucking percentages, say 30, 40 or 50% is reserved for OBCs, which stands for other backward classes. Then some are for the minorities, the STs and the SCs. So overall, you're only left with few seats in a university. And now, since the population is so much, and there's kids clearly smarter than me who have nothing else going on in their life, and their parents have just made sure that they just fucking nail their academics, right? There are kids who get 99, 98.9, 99.7. Like, this is just fucking mental. And this was before the lockdown thingy happened, right? So there was no online classes or anything. No one was getting any sort of like gifts and stuff in terms of marks and grades. So everyone worked their asses off. I'm gonna give credit where it's due. Yes, these kids are slightly nerdy, dorky, whatever you wanna call them, and they have nothing going on in their life. Their whole life mission is to just be academically smart. But hey, the thing is, they are smart. They were smarter than me. So obviously these kids are going to get priority over me or anyone who scored less than me, right? So that's one thing. The other thing is, when I was in year 9 or 10, I had a educational trip opportunity from my high school and they took us to some universities in the States, United States, right? So that was the first time I was basically exposed to, you say, the Western culture or the white academic side. I didn't know what it was like in any of the other countries because obviously all my life I was in a school in India. So when I went there, I looked, and obviously we went to New York and whatnot. When I went to New York for the first time, I was like, oh shit, like this is the life I want to live. Because everyone was just fucking busy, man. Like everyone was on the move. I could see, like I was 14 or 15 years old, but even at that tender age, I was able to see what hustle looks like. And I figured out like, yes, I want to live in New York for at least a few years, have like a penthouse on the 30th floor kind of thing with, you know, the glass walls, and that's just going to be my life goal. It is still one of my goals, but obviously I'm much older now, so I understand what life is like. Plus, I think that was one of the most influential things that led me to believe that, hey, maybe studying abroad is not going to be a bad option, right? So that was always going to be a possibility. So after my year 12 exams, we were already in the process of, okay, we're going to apply to universities and colleges, even in other states of the country in India, right? Plus, we are going to send applications to some universities in different parts of the world. I did apply to universities in Canada, I did apply to universities in the UK, and I applied to the universities in Australia, and different states in Australia as well, right? But we were still going to wait to see somehow, maybe by the 5th or the 6th list that comes out of the Indian colleges and the universities. Okay, the first list, this is the allocation of the kids. Anyone who scored more than that, they literally get invited to apply and whatnot, and they get the preference. But after that, oh, there's cops out there. Anyway, so I waited till like 5th or the 6th list, but my name wasn't like like the score that I did, what was it, 94? Yeah, that didn't, like, it wasn't shortlisted. It was still high, 96, 96.2, 95.7. So like during this whole process, right, we are also planning, okay, we got to have plan Bs, backups and whatnot. And I got my offer letters. I got accepted into universities in Canada, in the UK, and in Australia. We cancelled out Canada because it was just way too cold. It was way too cold, like minus 20, 30, whatnot. And I'm like, knowing myself, I'm not going to be able to step out of the bed. I'm going to be lazy as fuck. That was number one. And number two, this is going to sound so bad, but every other person or every other kid that I knew was going abroad to study, right? Everyone was just going to Canada. And I was like, don't want to do it. There's going to be too many Indians there. Sounds bad, but that was the mindset I had at that point in time. I was like, nah, I'm not going there to just basically still be in India. Do you know what I mean? And now we know the condition of Canada, what it is right now. But after that, we looked at UK. The whole reason UK was cancelled out was because my dad, someone probably just kind of told him that there's a lot of racism in UK. I don't know how it is like, and if you're from the UK or if you've ever been and you've ever faced anything, please do let me know in the comments. But that was the long story short. UK got cancelled out, but my dad was really against sending me abroad. He was just like, because I'm a single child, he was like, I just can't, you know, send out my single child away from me. Plus, it was a lot of money that was being invested. But back and forth, we finally decided on Australia. We got offer letters from universities in Melbourne. We got offer letters from universities in Queensland, in Sydney. Didn't apply to any universities in Perth, obviously, and got offers from Adelaide. And after that, my dad was just like, well, I'm not going to go Sydney and Melbourne because A, they're really expensive, just for like, you know, the living costs, and B, you're going to party too much, like it's too busy. So go somewhere slightly less busy. And hence, we decided on University of South Australia. The good thing was I was also getting a scholarship because obviously I scored 94%, which the Australian universities took into consideration and gave me an international merit scholarship. So they're basically, what they do is it's like a discount scheme. I don't really call it a scholarship, but at least you get awarded, right? So they take off certain percentage of the fees, and so you basically get discounted fees compared to all the other international students. So we ended up getting accepted into the university, I still remember the day my education agent called me and like, congratulations, you've got your visa as well, so it's time to, you know, get cracking. That was the same day. I also got a message from someone be like, okay, the best college that I was looking at in New Delhi, right, for media side of things, because obviously I did media, I wanted to do media from the start. I knew what I was going to do. Finally, the 7th or the 8th cutoff list in that college, in that university, was like 94 or 93.8, something like that. So I basically also got accepted into that. And my dad was like, all right, you're going to go there. I was like, no. Like, we've got my, what do you call it? We've got my visa sorted out. I ain't going to fucking any universities in India anymore. That was my, like, pretty much the selling point. I'm like, nah, we're going big now. So yeah, there was like a lot of back and forth with my mum and dad, because mum was a bit more on board with sending me to a different country, but my dad was not as much on board because of a lot of reasons. And if I started talking about all of them, this video is going to be way too long. But we did that, and then once the visa came through, we just, you know, started wrapping up, because my visa came through like a couple weeks before university was about to start, so everything was just like hectic. But the good thing was, since we were planning it for so long, we still had almost everything sorted out, just in case, like, there's a possibility you're going to go abroad. Let's start shopping. Let's get the bags ready. Okay, we've applied for the visa. If the visa gets accepted and you haven't been accepted into the universities in New Delhi, it's time. You are going to go. So we were still doing everything on the backhand, right? So that was a good thing. The other reason that I really wanted to just go abroad, go outside of India to study, was, again, don't get me wrong, if any Indian people are watching this, I love my country, but there's a lot of corruption. So if my dad had a lot of money, like if he had mad amounts of money, like hectic money, I wouldn't have to think about how much scores I have to get. He could just pretty much pay my way through any universities I wanted. In India, they call it donation. Like, you donate like a sum of money to the university's fund or something like that, and then you just basically get accepted. So that wasn't an option either. I hated that part of my country. I still do. And then I just also knew, I had a chat with people who were in Delhi University, and I asked them, I was like, what's the you know, day like when you go study, or what is the equipment like, or what's the experience like? And the answers and the experiences I got back from these people were like, oh, we don't really study. Like, there's no teachers. Everything is just fun and games. Like, there's no seriousness. So a part of me also knew deep down that if I go to another country, whether it be the States, whether it be Canada, whether it be UK, Australia, anything, I'm going to get more facilities. I'm going to get more, what do you call it, hands-on experience. The quality of education is definitely going to be like miles better, way better. So that was another reason that I was like, all right, I will love to experience something else. And then coming to the other aspect, would I like to, like, am I going to settle into this country, Australia? Probably, for a little bit at least. But the long-term goal is not to even live here, man. Like, I want to go somewhere maybe on the European side, a little bit more peaceful, have like my business operating remotely and whatnot. That's what my life I want it to be. But I love India so much that the parts that make my country look bad, I actively hate them. Like, there's so many things that I can criticize about India, right? But the thing is, when people hear that, oh, you're brown, you're Indian, and you're criticizing your own country, I am not criticizing my country because I hate it. I'm criticizing my country because people have the wrong perception of it on social media. They show that bad part, and then everyone perceives Indians and India to be like some sort of bad country, stupid people. And that just doesn't sit right with me. The amount of times I've been told in Adelaide, oh, what's your ethnicity? And I'm like, all right, take a guess. Cool, because I love letting people guess. And it also kind of changes with my haircut. If I have like a burst fade kind of thing, oh, you're South American. If I have like a buzz cut, you might be Arabic or something. And some other time it was just like, oh, you're from you're what is it? Fucking Bolivia. You're from Bolivia, or some other Spanish-speaking country. And I'm just sometimes I actually play with it. I'm like, oh, ¿te habla español? Puedo hablar un poco de español, un poquito. And then people just go, see, I knew you were like Latina, or like you're Latin, or you're from Spain, and what, blah, 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 blah. And then I tell them, I was like, oh, I'm just kidding. Sometimes I tell, sometimes I don't. Because sometimes I'm just like, whatever, just be happy, bro. If that's what's gonna make you happy, I'll let you have a laugh. But sometimes like, I was just kidding, I'm from India. And then they're like, oh, no way. You don't sound Indian at all. You're so different from other Indians. I'm like, because you haven't built a perception about Indians. And that's what I'm trying to change. The other time I had some guy, we were just literally at a coffee shop. I had a guy who was like, oh, like, what's your ethnicity, bro? And I'm like, go give it a guess. My favorite part of the day, or my favorite part of guess my ethnicity. And he's like, I don't know, man, like, you kind of look like Wog, but maybe one of your parents is from like some other country and one of them is Indian. So he got it half right. And I was like, oh yeah, the other half is Italian. He was like, yeah, I could see the Italian, especially with like the earrings and whatnot. I was gonna say like half Italian, but I just didn't know. I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, can you speak Italian? I was like, oh yeah, sto cercando di imparare l'italiano. And again, I was like, yeah, see, I knew it. That's my other thing. Like, I'm on the side. I'm just learning languages because it's a fun thing. But again, all the comments came through straight away. It's like, oh yeah, I could tell like you were born here. So a lot of the times, if someone gets my ethnicity completely right, like, okay, you're Indian, they just assume I was born here. They just assume that maybe I moved here when I was like 4 or 5 years old. So that was like a little off-track topic of if any brown people are watching this. I just want you guys to basically defy the stereotypes, go against the odds. Because I'll tell you the brutal reality of the Indian stereotype, at least in Australia, right? And I think it's probably going to be the same in a lot of other countries. If you're a brown dude, the possibilities are you do either of the 3 jobs. Number 1, you've qualified university, some sort of degree, maybe accounting, engineering, or doctor. So that's 1 job, which is not bad, which is great. But you'll never really see brown dudes in like creative or artistic sides. There are, but not enough. All right, that one's done. Number 2, stereotype about Indian dudes is going to be, oh, you drive an Uber, you drive a Toyota Camry, you drive a taxi. Legit, I'm not trying to like belittle anyone, and I've done all the odd jobs, but I never did that because I knew for a fact I am never going to step my foot inside a Toyota Camry because I don't want to be associated with the Indian stereotype. I've literally cleaned floors, mopped floors at pizza shops and whatnot. So I'm not saying any sort of work is like, oh, yeah, you're less of a job kind of thing. Nah, not that. But I knew that I was not going to do the stereotypical things. Or number 3, you're probably like a food delivery driver. You're doing delivery, Uber Eats, menu lock kind of thing. Never did that either. Never. Because I knew I'll do anything. I worked at the Royal Adelaide show, the Fringe show, collecting coupons and tickets at rides and stuff, right? Like, I'll do any job, but I will not fit in the stereotype of Indian people because I want to defy that. so that when someone asks me, I can say I'm Indian and they can get a different image of Indian people. The other thing that happens a lot of the times is like, well, you don't sound Indian. You were probably born here. What high school did you go to? Did you go to St. Peter's or did you go to Prince Alfred? I was like, motherfucker, I didn't go to fucking high school in Adelaide. I was like, oh, so you would have been in Melbourne. I was like, nah. I went to fucking high school back in India, in New Delhi. Yeah, my school was quote unquote an English school, and we used to talk in English, and I was a part of the debating society, blah, 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 and all those sort of things. But the accent changed when I started hanging out with white people. And a big aspect that added onto it, since I told you, you will probably not see a lot of brown people or like brown guys into the artistic fields or artistic professions, right? When I did media at University of South Australia, there was no brown people in my class. None. Only white people, and most of them girls. That worked out pretty well. Not that I had any confidence of talking to girls at that point in time, but I was just like, oh fuck, I'm surrounded by beautiful ladies. Never talked to anyone in my university life. Never went through the glow up, never did anything. And literally the year I graduated was the start of me as a, basically, what do you want to call it? Player? I started just talking to multiple girls, meeting multiple girls, because obviously I had like a bit of glow up after that, but that's beside the point for another video. So here was, what do you call it? A little bit of summary, a little bit of gist of why I decided to leave India at the age of 18. And if anyone was to come and ask me right now for advice, or do you recommend it? Do you not recommend it? Or would you change your decision? Absolutely not. I will not change my decision for anything. I wouldn't be half, not even what. I wouldn't be a quarter of the person that I am today if I didn't leave India. Because I know for a fact I would have stuck around with the same people with limiting beliefs and mindset and whatnot, and I would not get anywhere. Not in terms of my physique, bodybuilding journey, money, media agency, the degree, or the girls, or the looks, nothing, man. Nothing. Alright, I'll see you in the next video, boys. Look after yourself, look after your loved ones, and make sure if you haven't subscribed already, you subscribe to this channel. Alright, I'll see you later. Take care.